you were going to tell another story.
So Andy Petrie shows up at RCR. He's going to be the crew chief. He comes in, and he'd been there for about a week, and he says, okay, now show me y'all stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? All your tricks, your magic, your all the things, all the cheating stuff that y'all did. So Lynn grabs hold of him, carries him over there, set up plate right in the middle of the room, and he goes, see that seat right there? That's where all our magic is. The guy that sits in that seat. We don't have no nitrous. We don't have no movable this. We weren't doing any of that stuff.
Hey everybody, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. and welcome to the RB studio for the new season of the Dale Jr. Download. This is a guest segment, and we have a pretty incredible guest coming in here. I'm pretty excited about this to kick the season off. It's one of my favorite people that's in the industry today, Danny Lawrence. Danny Lawrence was part of the RCR Black number 3, Wrangler number 3. He was part of that group, part of that team, one of the engine builders at the track, working on the car. He's been in my life and a part of my life and an influence on my life for decades. And even today, he's one of the few guys that I still see around that was part of that team. And I see him every time I go to the racetrack. He's kind of runs the Xfinity program for RCR and a lot of other partnerships. But there is not a moment if I see him that we do not talk, that we do not. We don't walk by each other and wave and nod, none of that. Every time I see this man, we stop and we shake hands or we pat each other on the back or we say, hey, how's it going? You doing all right? And I love it. And I love that relationship. It's important to me. He's meant a lot to me, still does today. And I wanted y'all to get to know Danny. And hopefully we do a good job of that in this show. So excited about it. Let's bring him into the room. All right, Danny Lawrence is here, and you've been working for Richard Childress forever. Currently, you manage the Xfinity program, am I right? You got other responsibilities?
Yeah, I look after all of our technical alliances.
Gotcha.
We have,
which you have many.
We have a lot of those, so it's a lot.
Yeah, but you were part of the 3 team, and we'll get into all that, but. The reason why I was excited about bringing you on here is over the past couple of years, I had Kurt on here, and it was a lot of fun to talk to him because when back in those days, I was just in awe of you guys. It was so. I knew it then, and it still feels. It's one of the things in life that's felt exactly the same today as it felt then. My dad to me, and you can appreciate this. My dad to me was like a superhero and just this crazy cool, special person, and he was made that way more so because of the people that were around him. I remember. When he was driving for Bud Moore, and I knew he was rough and tough and tough as leather and no bull, but he really didn't get to become who he truly wanted to be until he found all of you guys and y'all found him, and the match of him and y'all and how y'all went about y'all's job and how y'all looked at y'all's job was as perfect as it could be. And, y'all strengthened his ability to go out there and really put his foot down, and push people around and be aggressive and stand his ground. And not many people really were willing to push back. And they knew it wasn't just Dale they were pushing back against because y'all had a reputation as a team, the Junkyard Dogs, the Flying Aces, and it was a lot of fun as a kid. Y'all were almost like, heroes in a comic book almost. So you got to live that. You
Yes,
know?
very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, part of the reason that you're right. It was for us. It was also, your dad used to say all the time, we're making history.
Yeah.
And we'd win a race, and we'd be in victory lane, and he would be like, all right, let's go, let's go, let's go. That was all about, he wanted to win everything he did, going to the restaurant, where, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I
Competition
mean,
and everything.
everything. And when he got to the racetrack, it was strictly business. And so I heard the comment one time of you say, them guys were kind of mean to me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we knew everybody had a responsibility. You got to remember back then that we not just change engines, practice, like we go to Daytona, we show up with a practice engine.
Mm-hmm.
And the same guys that were the pit crew guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and the garage stayed open for 11 hours. We would show up, put a practice engine in. All right, we're going to make a qualifying run. All right, pull that out. Not just that, you have to put the gear, the transmission, the head, all this and that. Go make a run, pull that engine out. I mean, we worked like
Crazy.
junkyard dogs.
Yes.
We did. And Dale never let us down. The neat thing is that he knew the cars really good.
Mm-hmm.
We would go to a test. He hated the test. And he would go, oh, my gosh, man. Tell me how fast we need to run so we don't have to test anymore. Give me a number. If I can run this fast, can we stop testing? I mean, it was, and he would just about do it.
Yeah.
He ran at Talladega, that Mike Thomas's wife wanted to ride. And back then, you didn't have in the car. Yeah. He got a helmet put on her, and he went out, and he ran within 2/10 of what the pole was.
What's
with her
she
in the
doing?
car.
Just
She was
holding on?
holding on, scared, screaming like
Not
crazy.
melted into nothing.
Nope.
My God. How many people did that?
Yep. But
Did you ever go for one of those rides?
I did
Holy
not.
crap.
I did not. But it was like he was in control of every situation. I mean, even when you go get on the plane, you sit here.
Oh yeah.
You sit here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like, I've got a picture of my truck I want to bring to you. We went fishing in San Salvador with him. I know I'm getting off base.
That's fine.
But that's the first time I'd ever seen anybody eat sushi. We caught a tuna, and it was in the live well for about an hour and a half.
Uh-huh.
He pulled it out. I got a picture of him filleting this thing and him eating it raw. And I was like, this was 30 years ago.
Sure. Before it's normalized today.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're going to eat that without it being cooked? And he goes, here, take some. I'm like, nobody, all of us were like, no.
Yeah.
Like, so he was very misunderstood. He was bad. He was badass and determined, and he knew how to make stuff happen. Everything from the souvenir side to the race side.
Yeah.
People misunderstood him because he was really brilliant. He'd come out there and go, "Hey, these hats aren't selling. Y'all put these hats on." And then the next day he goes, "All those hats are sold out." I mean, he knew how he knew how to he knew how to work every deal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just on the but he wanted to win everything.
Yeah. I was really, he was intimidating. People would maybe wonder what he was like as a dad. He had this persona on the racetrack with his competitors and in the marketing and so forth, and his fans tuned in to watch as the intimidator, the man in black, and he certainly earned it. And I thought it was I loved the way he drove and wouldn't have changed a thing he did. But he was exactly the same way at home, very intimidating, and I think he wanted to have that type of control over the situation because he wanted you to do what you were supposed to do. He wanted you to do well in school. He wanted you to have initiative and want to try hard and find something you're passionate about and go after it. And he felt like having that control or that intimidation was a way to sort of hopefully keep you in line. And so he was really similar at home as he was on the racetrack. Now he had moments where he would soften up a little bit for sure, and y'all certainly saw that. And I would go to the racetrack and get around y'all, and I saw you guys in the same way I saw him. And I don't think that I felt like y'all were mean to me. Not in a way like y'all were rude or like, get out of the way, kid. None of that went on. Y'all were just so, like, if I was standing around, y'all were going to get that other engine, or y'all were pulling another motor out, or y'all were always getting the car back to tech and going back through tech. And back in those days, there wasn't any standing around or waiting, and there was a job to do all the time. And so it was kind of like when you would go to the racetrack back in those days, the majority of the time it felt like you standing at an intersection of a busy street. It was just people moving all the time, and y'all didn't really have time to be nice. And y'all were really like uber focused on the prize, and the responsibility to go win the race that weekend. There wasn't a ton of joking around. I didn't really see you guys like mucking it up with each other and being silly like some of the other teams, and so that was kind of what I meant. It wasn't so much. I loved being around y'all. There's videos that we shared with each other on our phones of candid stuff of us standing in the garage and me kind of being around and going, holy, I can't believe I got this shirt on. I got a damn GM Goodrich shirt. I'm hanging out with the boys. And y'all are fine. That was how y'all were. Y'all were just,
So one of the things about the race weekend was we never had a list of who was responsible. Everybody knew what they were responsible for. Richard, Dale, or Kirk, and nobody ever told us, all right, we're going to be there at this time. We were always early. We were always the first ones in the garage. And when we got there, it's so much different now. You had to unload tires off of where the lounge is now. You had to unload the toolbox. You had to set everything up. It was I'd say well orchestrated machine. It's like you didn't sit there and go, okay, I'm gonna do this. We did the same thing every week, and each guy was responsible for the same part. So there were not a lot of talking or planning. You knew what you had to do. You absolutely. And then during practice session, Earnhardt would call for a lot of stuff, like I need more gear, I need less gear, or this or that or what. And why he was coming in, we would be getting the gear off truck. We would be ready to go. Mm-hmm. And he drove us to a lot of that because he was always prepared. He was always ready. He always showed up ready to go. Mm-hmm. And so we just pushed really hard with him. Yeah. And we were a real team. We all felt like when you won a race, you felt like you contributed because everybody had a part in it.
Mm-hmm. We are bouncing around, but that's perfectly fine. I think it's fun to let the conversations kind of go. But the next thing I was thinking was, you're the reason why. Like, I love you, man. I got to tell you.
I love you too, bro.
I love you. And you're like family to me, and I would do anything in the world that you asked me to do. Like, you're one of those people that when I see you, I know that your reaction and you're glad to see me is as genuine as can be. You care about what I got going on. We compete, right? Yep. We compete against each other. I got Xfinity, and you got Xfinity, and sometimes our cars bash into each other. That's never changed the relationship between you and me. And you've always been one of the few people that always say, man, your dad would be proud of you. You're always going out of your way to tell me those things and make sure that I'm in a good, headspace with those things. That's just your nature. But the question I wanted to ask you was, I saw Will Lynn the other day, and Kirk's been on the show, and we know we know what Chocolate's been up to, and unfortunately David's passed, and there's a lot of guys that were part of that program that are off doing, or gone, and but you're still boots on the ground. I see you on pit road pre-race, managing, overseeing, shepherding. What is the motivation for you? Where these other guys, right, and have sort of decided, that part of my life is over. Like I saw Will, and he comes into, he was over by the drag strip where our late model program is, getting something for old hot rod he's working on, and the person that I kind of threw another person said, "Hey, tell Will stop in if he wants to." Sure enough, he come walking in the shop about 20 minutes later, and I'm like, "What have you been doing?" "I'm just working on hot rods." He's like, "I don't have nothing to do with racing, nothing." He's like, I'm doing this. This is what I do. And it's unbelievable for me that person, even with Kurt, like that person that I saw so rooted and welded into the industry and into those roles, is completely separated from it today. While you have remained as, kind of involved as ever, that's for me, that's emotional. For me, it's like, I never want to see my heroes retire and go off into the pasture, right?
Right.
I don't, but they do. And that's something I think we all learn in life. We have heroes in sport where, they retire and you're like, I remember when the guy got drafted. Feels like yesterday, and now I've seen his whole career. How in the hell did that happen? But how has that been interesting to you, and why do you feel like that? What drives you to kind of still want to be so involved?
You get that feeling when you win these races and you make a difference.
Yeah.
When you know that you had something to do with it. And you,
how hard is it to see your friends, not have that feel? I've got a buddy. You might have a buddy one day walk up to you and say, "Man, I'm gonna go do something else," and you're like, "Why? We're having fun. Why do you want to go do that?" But that's what they need to do, and you kind of have to. That's one of the things you learn early in life is like people are gonna kind of come and go, and it's out of your hands.
One of the things that Kirk and Will both, one of the things that changed their lives, I believe, was the grandkids. Will told me that he is having such a good time with the grandkids. He's being a grandpa.
Yeah.
And the way that we had it and the way that we are, you can't halfway do it. Will or Kurt, neither one were going to sit back and just sit in an office.
Right.
Our world's changed 100%. And that's why I'm not in the engine shop no more, because our world's changed. It back in the day, we would order 6 camshafts and run them across the dyno and then actually lay everything out, look at everything, and go, okay, this one looked a little like, then we'd order 3 more.
Yeah.
Now everything's done on the computer.
Uh-huh.
And the engine shop got to be where, just be honest with you, they didn't even want my advice. In 98, one of my claim to fame is that your dad wanted his own engine shop. So Richard separated Skinner's engine shop and his engine shop.
That's crazy.
And he had his reasons, because Skinner liked different engines than your dad liked, and this and that and whatever. And I got named chief engine builder in 98. And our first race was the 500. And meaning we worked, me and Bo Nance and Greg Gunnell, we worked night and day to make sure we had the best engine that we had. I have a picture in my office that where your dad has his arm around me, and we're looking at the engine. And we went down there. We'd run good in every race, and we put the race motor in for last practice. And the race motors for the 500 are always brand new blocks, brand new, because you don't want to have an issue. And it was a little off, and he's like, it's 365 days before I get a chance to win this race again. I can't win with that engine. it's not good enough. Well, we have one on the truck. It's got it's actually got roller cam bearings in it. We've never raced it 500 miles and this and that. He's like, I'd rather blow up leading than I would be. So we put that engine in, took out 119 and put in 122, and ended up winning the 500 with no practice. And that is your dad's like, it's on me if something happens.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a year before I can win this race again. And people come off, so I show him that picture all the time because it's absolutely, he's got that look on his face like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And, you've been down there for 14 days. You had a lot of practice, and he just went around about 3 or 4 laps and said, boys, it's not good.
Really?
He knew. He was so amazing in the car. I know I'm getting offside. I got so much to tell you.
That's what this is all about.
We broke a crank at Michigan in practice one time, and he shut it off and didn't hurt anything. He felt it.
Mm-hmm.
He would call out on the radio, flywheel just broke, and he was right every time. Not just that. We were at Bristol one time, and he said there's a 7/16 snap-on wrench in turn 3 up against the wall. And there was. I mean, it was like you talk about details. He knew all the details. But getting back to the question, so when I moved over to do the O'Reilly's, Xfinity, whatever
mm-hmm.
you want to call it, got to go to the wind tunnel and see Chevrolet develop a new car. This was in 2018. Got to start doing stuff. Got to start doing stuff that I'd never done before on the car side. We're testing brakes, we're testing transmission gears, and it revitalized me because I felt like I brought some of the engine stuff to the car side. Back then, we, in 18, we measured everything with a tape measure, and we started using micrometers. And now you can you're setting these things up with roller arms and this and that, and it revitalized me because I felt like that was making a difference. And we go win these races, and then when we, I've never had a thought of when am I going to retire? I'm going to do this till I can't do it no more. I'm going to go down swinging.
Yeah.
And one thing about your company here is we do race like crazy. We race hard, but Mike Bumgardner and you and all your guys, we've got deals that you don't even know about.
I'm sure.
Justin Allgaier 2 years ago wrecked at Chicago, and we were there to get your car off the truck because the trucks are so far away, and there's been times when, all right, Bumgardner, I need a transmission. If I need a transmission during the race, and he goes, well, there'll be one in the hallway of the 7 truck. If you need it, you just go down and get it. And we got a deal. If you use a backup car or two, you can have our backup car. I mean, it's like we've got deals because I love seeing you win. I love, we're part of the Chevrolet family,
mm-hmm.
and great story, but I know we don't have enough time for it.
We got plenty of time.
But this might get me in trouble, but y'all, we had a lot of drama at Martinsville.
Yes.
And you guys won the race, and both of our cars were wrecked, and neither one of them made it to the playoffs. So I'm like, you know what? Wasn't their fault. I'm going to go over there and congratulate Bumgardner and Justin and Pullman and all them. So I go over there, and I hear, Danny. I'm like, look. And it was my high school sweetheart. My high school sweetheart was actually, she's Allgaier's nanny.
Oh, crap.
And like I hadn't seen her in 30 years. I had not seen her in 30 years. And I went over there and talked to her and her husband. I've known them forever and ever and ever. And I'm like, they're doing great. They got grandkids and this and that. And what? And I'm like, man, it's a small world. I'm like, Allgaier, how come you didn't tell me?
Right.
And he's like, I knew about it, but I didn't, whatever. But we have, we're family as well.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, if anything ever happens, back in the day when Richard said, hey, Dale Jr. is going to drive our car. I'm like, everybody was so excited. And I heard you made a comment one time about that was the easiest thing. We put in a lot of work because Richard said, don't embarrass us.
Oh,
so built a brand new car, did all the stuff. I mean, we had 2 or 3 things we needed to do, and we rolled with it.
Oh yeah. And
when you won 10 races last year, we loved it because we are part of the family.
Yeah.
And I feel like that we do so much stuff together. I mean, Mike Bumgardner is one of my best friends on the road, and we help each other.
Yeah.
And it's because of the relationship we have with you and your family, and it's an extension of RCR.
Yes. Yeah.
Richard loves you like a son as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I have the same feeling about Richard, and the RCR connection is more than just the relationship Dad and had with Richard and the success they had on the racetrack. Dad and Richard were like brothers, and
brothers that fought from time to time.
They did, of course, and that's perfectly natural. There'd be a problem if they didn't. And so I've always maintained in my mind that, while we do compete on the racetrack, that is so small and singular compared to the history and relationship we have, and the trust, and that is a bond that would be very, very challenging to break. I will say this though, the going back to driving the car that I raced, the Oreo car in the Xfinity race at Daytona, and I was pretty excited because I knew that y'all had good stuff, and that was going to be, it was kind of going to be nice to see some of the familiar faces that I would run into driving the car. I'm over there running my Cup deal. It's the Daytona weekend. You're kind of back and forth, and it's a hustle from one garage to the next. So I go over to the Xfinity garage, get ready for the first practice, and y'all were like, we're just gonna go out and make a run and come in and check something and then go make another run. And I was like, all right. So went out, ran, came back in, ran another run. 15 minutes, we're done. Still another hour of practice left, but we're done. And so I'm like, all right. And then we had happy hour, and I went out there and ran, and I was like, it's pretty good, but it feels like it's got a lot of wheel in it, and it's a little tight, especially off turn 4. And we would always, that was back in the old bumpy Daytona days, and if the wind was blowing in the door off of 2 or 4, wherever the wind was blowing in the door, it made you tight. And y'all were like, oh, we can fix that. And so I believe, I never saw it with my own eyes, but I believe that y'all had a pan, or the radiator pan, y'all could open it up.
Yeah.
And so y'all, it was just maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing maybe like a 5x8 hole.
Yeah.
That y'all just opened up, and it would create like a vacuum and suck the nose down in the racetrack. And golly, it fixed all of the tightness and made that car pin to the corner on exit, where everybody else is kind of struggling, tight off, and that was going to get worse as you made the right front mad. We didn't have that problem in the race, and that was literally the only thing we did. And again, like in happy hour is the last practice, your last chance to make sure everything's right. We ran 20 minutes of an hour and stopped. And I'm like, this is how Dad did it. This is y'all always were covering y'all's car up early. Yeah. If y'all were always messing with the competition, putting a cover on the car 30 minutes before the end of practice. And I'm like, man, this is neat. It was like I was kind of seeing it through the lens of what Dad would experience with y'all. And we went out and ran the race, and it was effortless. The car was...
He knew what he wanted just like you did.
Well...
Speaking of car covers,
yeah.
87 we go to Daytona. And that's back when Beatty was the crew chief, and they back then we never cheated, and I want to tell you the Andy Petrie story right after this. But we pushed everything to the end of the rules. And back then they had, a long template and a side template and this and that. So At Daytona, you needed a totally different car than you needed at Talladega.
Really?
The racetrack was rough. It would get hot, this and that. So you needed a car to be able to handle for the long. So the back end of our car was 4 inches longer. The spoiler and all, the back deck lid and all that stuff was longer. So, and our car looked different. And they came over the speaker and they said, at 12 noon, anybody that wants to see the templates put on the 3 car.
What?
Because we were the champions, so we had the first stall.
They said that over there.
Oh, yeah. So all these people came over. They put all the templates on the car. Everything fit perfect. So we're covering car up at the end of the day, and the car cover won't fit because the car cover is made off of a regular car. We couldn't get it over the back. And it was like, oh well, it's one thing that we missed on it, but it was fine. It was good, but we weren't the only ones. There was some of those cars look alike.
I know that, like Daryl and those guys. You can go. There's a Waltrip car in the museum at Talladega, and it's like 4 inches narrow.
Yeah.
The Junior Johnson Bud car. You go in there and you can look at it and just tell it's like super narrow. And so yeah, they were playing some games before, because we at that point, I think around 85, 86, you had the long tip and that was it.
Yeah.
They weren't measuring the width. But you were going to tell another story.
So
Andy Petrie.
The Andy Petrie thing. So Andy Petrie shows up at RCR. He's going to be the crew chief. He comes in, and he's been there for about a week, and he says, okay, now show me y'all stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? All your tricks, your magic, your all the things, all the cheating stuff that y'all did. So Glenn grabs hold of him, carries him over there, set up plate right in the middle of the room, and he goes, see that seat right there?
Huh?
He goes, yeah. That's where all our magic is, the guy that sits in that seat. We don't have no nitrous. We don't have no movable this. We weren't doing any of that stuff. It was all basics, and that was the truth. And Andy was like, you don't have no trick spoilers or no trick cowls or no way to move the fenders or take lead out. I'm like, no, we don't have none of that. You don't have any, 5-speed transmissions or what? No, we don't have any of that. You don't have any aluminum panels or any way to cause a caution or no, we don't have any. He goes, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm like, and he couldn't believe it. He could not believe it.
Yeah.
But so Andy's thing was, we gonna have some of that stuff. And then Richard's like, Andy, you embarrass us and it's on you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Andy had all that stuff, all the other places he ran, and he this and that, but
he brought that damn spoiler from the Skull car.
Yes,
I have it.
Yes,
with the wires and the retractor where the spoiler laid down. He said they used it in qualifying when they were scared to do it in the race. So, I can imagine you could see it if you were behind him. But I kind of always wondered. We talk about that all the time on here with folks about ingenuity and cheating and all that stuff. And I got this big old lead radio right here that Gary Nelson, he brought that over. That's from like 1978.
Gotcha.
Diegard, Dare Waltrip. That thing, it's tungsten. It's not lead. But I was in Nashville yesterday speaking at the Cattlemen and Beef Association and telling them about the Darrell Waltrip story where they had the lead shot in the frame rail and it come out the jack stop, and then every time NASCAR would go look for it, they couldn't see the hole because the jack was jacking the car up on the jack stop. But so y'all never. No, I mean, how do you get people like this is my question to you is I believe you. All right, I believe you when you tell me that you wouldn't bullshit me, but in a garage that is like cheating or bending the rules or whatever is rampant. I mean, it was like a badge of honor. Everyone in the garage felt like they had one over the next guy. They don't know about what I'm doing here. And every guy in the garage You look in the eyes of all of those crew chiefs back in the 80s, and all of them had something they were hiding. And it's hard for me to believe that you guys were 100% on the up and up.
So there's a picture floating around of your dad with his foot underneath the front of the car. That's nothing.
That's
That is, and people are like, that's how he won all those races.
I like it. I like
he would.
There's that picture. I see it every now and then, probably every 6 months on social media, and that picture makes me think. I kind of do want people to think Dad was smarter than the technical inspectors. I kind of like, because he was, he thought he was smarter than everybody else, and that's a image of him in his mind. But what he's truly doing in that picture, and y'all aren't weighing the car. I mean, that would be, lifting the car with his foot would go against the minimum weight.
Yeah.
One of the things that Dad did that a lot of people don't realize is he walked around. Like back in the 80s and the 90s, the front valence height on the car was critical to speed and how competitive your car was going to be. And he would walk around, and he wanted to, if he could, take a tape measure to every car out there on the grid or in the garage, right? But instead of doing that, he'd walk over and slide his foot under there and see what shoelace, because he had them racing shoes on that laced all the way up to the ankle. And he'd see what shoelace that valence hit. And he would then walk off and go, well, that went up to the 7th shoelace. That's a little higher than the last one.
That's exactly what he would do.
That's what he's doing. And that's what he's kind of doing in that picture, is like measuring the valence with his foot. And that was kind of his way of kind of seeing if he was where he needed to be and where the competition was at.
You're exactly right. He knew a lot about those cars, and when you and Kelly and Kerry and all were going to start driving, he came in the truck one day and he said, "I'm going to make them work on those cars, or they're not driving. I want them to be able to realize what it takes, what you guys go through, and what it takes to race."
Yeah.
And I know he made you work on the cars there so that. So you could appreciate what it is. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
And how easy you can tear one up. And, weeks and weeks and weeks of work, and you can tear one up in just a minute.
Oh, yeah.
He was, when you were winning all those races, he was so proud of you. He'd come back in, he'd be like,
Happy hour was right after our races in the Busch Series, and I didn't get to see him. He might pop into Victory Lane. We wind over, right, 98 or something, I think. He pops into Victory Lane. He's got a suit on.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's getting ready to get in his car. And he's there for like a minute.
Yeah.
Hug, high five, slap on the forehead, whatever, right?
And that's about what you're going to get.
And then he's gone. I'm like, damn, I wish he was hanging around. We're going to take all these pictures, and I want to, in 5 or 10 minutes, if he had hung out, I might actually get to hear what he's thinking, right?
Yeah.
But he'd be gone, jump in his car. Because he had to be first out, or didn't want, it was a competition. He was back in his mode.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
But tell me what he would do when I would win races in the Xfinity Series.
He would come back and he'd go, "Get you some of that, Dale Jr." And he would say stuff to us like that you didn't think about till later on. He'd say, "We're making history," or this or that, or "Let's get our picture made." He'd say that all the time.
Oh.
And you could tell, like most of the time when he walked to the car, he was strictly business. It was like he didn't, it's time to go to work. And as good as anybody, a lot of people out there don't know, he wouldn't get out of the car. He would just lay over there and take a little nap, even if it's for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like he was focused and dedicated to try to make that car as good as it possibly could be. He'd go out and run one lap one time and go, "Can't drive it. Put a shim in the front, or, change the rear springs, or this or that." And I'm like, how do you know in one lap the tires aren't even warm? But he did. He knew what he knew what kind of feel that he wanted. I mean, he's an amazing race car driver, and he also knew the cars really good.
Yeah. Mechanically.
Oh yeah, like he could build a gear, he could build a transmission, he could build, it's like he knew how to wire the car. I mean, he knew you wouldn't bullshit him on anything.
No.
Because he knew what was right and what was wrong.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to throw out there was he was the best ticket to anything that ever happened. So he would come up like, hey, George Strait's going to be here in a little bit, hang out with us, or, or this guy or that guy. You would go, hey, man, I want to go see the Eagles. I said, yes, no problem. He would call anywhere. He could get you tickets anywhere. He could get you into anything. You're like, these are Earnhardt's boys, and they would put you backstage.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it was like an open door. He was bigger than life for anything that I know you know what I'm talking about. It's like whatever it was, he could get you in.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. Will Lynn used to say all the time, that Goodwrench shirt's better than a tuxedo. That Goodwrench shirt is better than.
Yeah.
I don't know why you want to go back and put on a nice sweater or anything. You leave that Goodwrench. He said, that right there is the ticket.
Yeah, I bet so. All right, everybody. The 2026 NASCAR season is officially here. And you know what that means? It means new rides, new paint schemes, and another year of unforgettable moments out on the racetrack. And if you want to bring all of that action home, you've got to check out Lionel Racing. They're the official diecast of NASCAR. They've got the largest selection of officially licensed NASCAR diecasts. From race wins to the newest cars hitting the track this season, they've got it all. They're incredibly detailed with the same paint and the same sponsors and same attitude that you see on race day. They're must-haves for collectors and fans alike. And right now, to kick off the season, Lionel Racing is offering free domestic shipping when you use promo code DOWNLOAD26. That's free shipping just for the fans of the Dale Jr. Download. So head over to LionelRacing.com. Make sure to grab your favorite driver's latest diecast and start the 2026 season the right way. That's Download 26 for free shipping only at LionelRacing.com. All right, so you were born in Clemens, North Carolina, graduated high school 1980.
Yep.
How did you get into racing?
All right, so this is crazy. This is really, really crazy. So back when I was little, I took the telephone apart, the TV. I was a tinkerer. I always wanted to.
Did you get in trouble taking it apart the telephone?
Yeah. I had to get it.
Yeah.
My mom was soft. My dad was tough. You're like, you better get that. He's going to be here in a few minutes. You better. I was just a tinkerer. And then so in 1969, I got Honda 50, and it wouldn't go. It was a 3-speed. Wouldn't go fast enough. So I worked on it, and I ended up messing with it, worked on the carburetor, just self-taught. And then I got a SL70, and that thing would go. It was a 4-speed. And then, worked on it and this and that. And then I got to be where I hung around some guys that worked on engines and this and that. And I had a 70 Camaro that I tore apart at my house. Mm-hmm. And there's a guy that works for GM now. He's the lead engineer for General Motors. He's in charge of the Formula One and all. Mm-hmm. Patrick Canuck, that lived on my street.
Oh,
so Patrick said,
small world.
Oh, yes. Patrick says, at 3 o'clock in the morning, my mom and dad were not happy with you because I would do stuff and I'd run up and down the street, open headers
checking
or this.
Out.
Yeah. And they knew it was you, by the way. And I'm like, I laughed about it. So I got to be where I started tearing engines, and then I had a friend of mine that raced back in 78 and 79. He raced at Caraway, and he wanted to run a Buick V8. And so I built this Buick V8. It was my first race engine. Bobby Labonte was down there learning how to drive and this and that. And that kind of got me, I got intrigued by it, kind of self-taught. And then I was helping Bobby Moody at RCR.
How?
In the body shop. I'd come in, I'd go to school, I'd come in at nighttime.
You're in what grade?
And I was senior.
All right.
So
they let you just start coming by?
Yeah, Bobby was a friend of mine that he worked at Modern Chevrolet when I did, and he was the paint guy.
At a Chevy store?
Yep.
And he got hired by RCR?
Yep. Bobby was from Mount Airy, North Carolina, and he was the paint and body guy. And so Bobby worked all night long.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would get out of school and I would go, Bobby would like sand this or that, or I just kind of got to helping him. And then I helped him for about 2 years. And then
when you were helping him, do you know where you were? Or were you in awe of being able to be around those cars?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is what year-ish?
So this was 82.
82. So Dad's not, it's Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, it's
Piedmont.
the white Piedmont car.
Yeah.
So then 84 comes around, and Richard says, we got some funding, and we've had some issues in the engine shop. Can you help tear engines apart? And I'm like, I need to finish my school, and this. I had a wrecker back then. My dad bought me a wrecker.
You're going to technical college?
Yeah, I'm going to Forsyth. It was actually Forsyth Technical School, taking business administration, and I ended up going to Davidson Community College as well. And
did you finish?
And yes, I did. And I got a business degree, and I got an auto mechanics degree.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of 84, Richard's like, I want you to come on full time and work in teardown. So in 85, I went to work there. This is my 41st year at RCR now. And tore engines apart for Lou LaRosa. And there was 3 people in the engine shop. And clean parts and this and that. And then Lou was like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to fit bearings. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to fit rings. I'm going to teach you how I learned how to cut pistons. I learned how to balance cranks. I learned how to, but I did that for 7 years. And then he let me start putting a few engines together, qualifying engines and practice engines and this and that. Just kind of progressed as it went. Back then,
do you remember when you had, do you remember the first, where you, I mean, I don't know if you can remember this, but how might have you felt when the engine that you actually had the most involvement in putting back together went to the racetrack?
Yes, I do remember that.
What was that like?
I was scared to death.
Yeah.
Because a couple of engines I put together, we used them on the dyno to run cams and cylinder heads.
Cool.
And we
so
beat
that
them.
was a good way of getting some confidence up and seeing your motor on the dyno not blowing up.
So while Lou was there, Lou never let me build a race motor. He built every one of them.
Sure.
But I built practice motors and some qualifying engines. And then when Eddie Lanier came in, I mean, me and Eddie built them together. Eddie was incredible as well. Eddie, he pushed everything to the limit. Before, when Lou was there, Lou was a great engine builder, but the main thing was make sure they don't blow up, make sure they run all the race.
But he, and to his credit, he had come from the 70s.
Yes.
And that's when you were breaking lots of engines.
Yes.
And that was the end of you'd blow a motor and that would be detrimental to the shot at winning the championship. So he kind of had this sort of different, he had a different, feeling about, I guess,
mindset.
Mindset toward the long, the durability versus speed.
This is a little technical, but back then we would run the pistons 5 down in the hole. And
what does that mean?
And so where the piston comes up, it would be down in the hole. And Eddie gets there and he wanted to run everything at 0. And I'm like, Eddie, man, I'm afraid it's gonna, if we miss a shift or hit really hard. He goes, we got 43 thousandths of gasket. We're good. And we'd come back at some of those races and pull the heads off, and you could see where they were basically clean, where everything was so close.
It didn't have any build up.
Yeah, it had no build up.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and that's more compression, more power. And
yes.
Lou was like, let's put a little safeguard in there, but that's going to cost you a little.
But Eddie brought us a little power, and it showed up.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot from both of those guys.
Yeah.
And then, Chevrolet was heavily involved with us, and B&R Automotive Machine, Ronnie Revis and Ken Bingham, they were doing. A lot of people don't know this. That's what started Hendrick Engines, and then Hendrick ended up taking it over. But we were a small group. All the Chevrolet people worked together really good. We developed camshafts together, not the camshaft itself, but the material it was made out of, and this and that. And it was in an inventor's time. I mean, there was always something new coming, and there were times where you pick up 12 or 13 horsepower through the year.
Yeah.
And now, half a horsepower or
It's
a
crazy.
horsepower. Oh, yeah, you're
I know,
lucky. You're lucky,
Yeah.
but it was amazing times. It was great. Um, very, very, very fortunate to be in the situation I was in. You know, I had I was at the right place at the right time, and for my job, we work. You know how hard we work, and you know how hard we're down. We get down on the ground, and we whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But man, I wouldn't have it any other way. You also know the feeling you get when you go and you win these races. That's why I continue to do it, because I love to win. And your dad was the same way. He was mad if second place was nothing.
Yeah.
He wanted to win. I mean, there's a couple times when we had a 12th or 14th place car, and he would end up 5th, and he'd still be pissed off. And I'm sitting there going like, that's not that bad. And he's like, no, that sucks.
Yeah.
I came to win these races.
Yeah.
We won 11 races in 87, and he's like, it's not enough. He never laid down.
Yeah.
He wanted to win every single one of them.
I believe you. When did you go to the racetrack?
So
How did that
86,
happen?
86.
Right. Early.
Yep, early.
Do you remember the initiation on the road?
Oh,
was
yeah.
there what was it like being one of the younger sort of new guys in that whole group?
So mine was totally different than everybody else's. So I've never had any alcohol. I've never drank nothing.
Never
And
in your life.
never had a drop of alcohol. And they
Still
yeah,
today.
and they found that out.
Why?
So
Even today, still.
because they pushed me
No,
to
no,
try.
no. Well, that was a personal choice.
Yeah, because my mom and my dad back in the day had a friend that got ran over by a drunk driver.
Yeah.
And my dad told me early on, he said, if I can raise you not to be a drunk or not to be a druggie, I've done my job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no problem. So I never smoked a joint, and I had never drank any alcohol.
Damn.
And then when we get into the racing thing, we worked hard at the racetrack.
Partied hard, too.
Partied hard.
How did you party with them guys?
I was the designated driver.
You the DD?
Yes, I was. I mean,
And they probably love that.
Yeah, I've drove them guys around a lot.
I bet.
A lot.
Oh yeah. How hard though was it to resist? I mean, I'm sure there were some moments where they were like, oh, they really put you in the vice.
Yeah, your dad is like, come on, man, just drink one champagne. We won the champion. I'm like,
Nothing.
I'm not doing it. I am
Even
not,
in those moments.
Yes, I'm not. They pushed really hard, and then hey, I'll get you a drink, and you smell it. Yeah, that's
Holy
not.
They try to trick you.
Yes.
Damn.
But so we were really tight. We were never mean to each other.
Yeah.
We had David. David was strictly by the book.
Yeah.
Kurt,
David, I should say, David was very religious and practiced his faith often.
Yes.
And was, which I felt like. I liked that about David because it seemed like that y'all needed that.
Yeah.
Because there was as wild as y'all were on the track and off the track. It was cool that he was a balance.
Yes.
Just like, you had your big guy, Chocolate, right? The big teddy bear. No, everybody was terrified of him.
Yeah.
But he was absolutely the softest guy of the whole bunch.
Yes.
It was, I swear it was like a cast for a movie. You couldn't have done a better job if you were literally casting it for a movie.
Yeah, we had the good, the bad, the ugly.
Oh,
we had it all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was, and it just kind of happened that way.
Just by chance.
And your dad was right in the middle of it. He was the ultimate team player. Your dad would come over, and every weekend he would give somebody else. It would either be me, Chocolate, Will. Here's $500. Take the boys out to dinner, but don't tell nobody. And he always took care of us. I was at Pocono, and he's like, "What's wrong?" Because he could read people really good. "What's wrong?" I said, "My grandfather's not doing good, man." "Well, what's wrong with him?" "He got cancer." He goes, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "Because we got to win this race." So he flew me home to be with my grandfather, and then he had his pilots wait, and doctor said, your grandfather's going to be okay through Sunday. He flew me back to Pocono.
For the race. Yeah.
And I'm like, thanks, man. He goes, don't thank me, man. He goes, I can't believe he came back. I'm like, we got an opportunity to win this race. But he's like, don't tell nobody. I mean, he did so much stuff for people that he didn't want people to know.
Yeah.
And, remember Lucky the pilot?
Oh, I do. Man, he's
Lucky,
still around.
Yeah, Lucky was like, I'm here for you. You just let me know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We were at Martinsville one time and just mentioned, like, motocross races in Charlotte. He goes, y'all want to go? I'm like, love to go. He goes, take my helicopter. I'm like,
what?
Me and Will. And
yeah.
I'm like, really? I have a car over there for you guys. So Saturday, we flew out of Martinsville. He flew us in his helicopter. He's like, I'm not using it. We landed right beside the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And he goes, oh, yeah, by the way, me and Jeff Gordon own all that property over there. And, like, we had no clue. Their big lot right beside, I think it's where 10 Tents is now. Your dad and Jeff own that together. And it's like, won't nobody say anything to you. We own that. We had no, there was so much secret stuff that he kept.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like, helicopter's coming back up here, but I've got y'all a Suburban there. And, like, and don't be late tomorrow. I mean, it's like he made stuff happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
So, do you would then recall I want to talk about some of the rivalries that Dad had. I suppose starting with Jeff Bodine in the 87 to 90 range. There was, I don't know why it was just Charlotte, but they wouldn't hardly, they'd run each other like, but they wouldn't wreck each other until we got back home to Charlotte.
Right. And
for some reason, I don't know whether it was because Dad was in front of his family and, everybody in the family was at the race.
Right.
And Rick and his businesses are in Charlotte, City Chevrolet and all that. My granddaddy, Robert G., that does the body work on that car, lives freaking 150 yards off the turn one at Charlotte. And for some reason, they would get around that race and have problems. And it'd be in the Busch race, and it'd blend over to the Cup race. And I know the answer to this because I've asked Kirk about it and talked to Richard and different people about it. But in all of those moments, there was one or two times where, for example, there was one weekend, I think Dad spun Jeff down the backstretch off of 2, running for the lead. And nothing happened. And I believe the next day in the Cup race, they got running into each other, and Dad wrecked him in the middle of 3 and 4. And that's when I think he got penalized, brought into the penalty box.
5 laps, yeah.
And I was sitting there I'm just a kid, but I'm thinking like a freaking adult. I'm sitting there going, man, what are we doing? Like, Dad, can you not, like, control yourself enough? This is, we're trying, I was so consumed with him winning the race, but also the championship.
Right.
Like, we can't, y'all broke a cam that year. Rusty, I think, beat y'all in the championship. Y'all broke a cam at Charlotte.
Dover.
Was it Dover?
Yeah.
And, that was devastating for me. Right. I know it was for y'all too, I'm sure. But, I lived this so damn hard. And when he does that, I'm like, damn, we have to do that. And then they penalize you, and I'm like, crap, Dad, this is kind of your fault, but he's, he didn't see it that way.
No.
Did you, I guess, not y'all, speaking for yourself, was there ever a moment where you were like grinding your teeth going, did we really have to?
There was a few of those.
Yeah.
But the thing about it was, I believe with Bodine, it was more personal.
It was so personal.
It was it was the things that was said.
Yeah.
And the things that, when he would catch Bodine from a straightaway back or whatever, he was all over the racetrack, and he's just like, you know what, I'm not messing with you.
Yeah.
I'm not. And it just kept getting
Yeah.
uglier and uglier. It was like an ugly divorce almost. It just would not stop.
Yeah.
And yes, the answer to the question is yes.
Yeah.
We were at Bristol one time and we got penalized, and Richard walked over to the NASCAR trailer and called up to the tower to Mr. France.
Oh, how did he do that? He got on
There was a telephone in the NASCAR trailer,
Yeah.
and they chewed Richard's ass
I
for that
bet.
one. And he's like, "Yeah, we won't do that again." But it was like we were for our team,
Yeah.
and there were so many times when Dale took an average car and won with it, and
Yeah.
I mean, we had to roll with whatever. You know, we had the saying back in the day. You know, today people think Dale Earnhardt wrecked everybody to win. He did not.
No. Yeah.
He did not.
He was rough.
I
loved every freaking second of it. Like
Yes,
that was
yeah.
all. That was he to me. I loved that. You know, he was physical, and he backed it up. He walked the walk. And,
you
know,
knew what you had. If he
Yeah.
caught you, or if he, you know, it's what he was. But we had this saying that
he wasn't selective either.
no,
Yeah.
he wasn't. I don't know whose fault it was, but it wasn't his.
Yeah.
That was what we used to
That
always
was the
say.
deal.
That was the deal. Like, I didn't see exactly what happened, but I know
Yeah.
it wasn't his fault.
I think about things like that. Like I would have loved having all this opportunity over the last 25 years to reflect on his career, having a chance to sit at this table and talk to so many people that have we've been able to kind of relive stories that we knew, but get a little more context and even hear stories we didn't know. And there's my pile of I would love to just sit down with him and go, man, what was going on there? Why did you do that? Or how come this happened? And what would you have done here? If he was sitting here, you know, what is something that you would share with him or want to know or want to let him know?
Your dad?
Yeah,
Me and him were really tight.
I'm sure.
We had I can explain to you how he was exactly. He's building DEI, and he's like, "What are you doing? Like, come down here." So we're walking through the place, and the walls are up, and he says, "I'm gonna make this a show place. I want to have the engine builders booths where we can give tours." I'm like, "Dale, you don't want to do that. You don't want the engine builders need to be able to concentrate."
Mm-hmm.
When they're degreeing the cam and they're putting the engine, you don't want people to walk by and talk to them. He goes, "Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to have these cubicles because I want the fans to be able to see exactly how this thing goes together." I'm like, "You're opening yourself up for an issue."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, that's what I'm doing." So when he finally got it built, he had those cubicles, but he went in and put rooms right across from him on the other side.
Yeah.
He never said he was wrong. Then
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
So he's like, when they get to that point, they can take them in the room. But so then he goes, "Hey, I want to appreciate you helping me. Come back here to the deer head room." And he pulls this gun out, and it's got a scope on it. He goes, "I sighted this in." I'm like, "That thing's badass." He said that DE was the serial number. It was a Remington. And he goes, "Here, I want you to have this." That was a 280. "I want you to have this 30-32. So he give me two guns with the serial number started with DE that Remington made, and he had piles of them, and he wrote them down. And "Don't you tell anybody I give you those guns." I mean, it was like all the nice things he did. He didn't want people to know it.
Yeah.
But he always appreciated everything.
I would ask him that if he was sitting here.
Yeah.
Why did you always say don't tell nobody?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
what
I
was
mean,
the
he
hell?
did things for the churches around here and this
Oh,
and
yeah.
that. It was like, but also I knew when to talk to him and when not to talk to him. I knew, you know, you could tell real easy what kind of mood he was in. Just by.
As soon as he walked in the room.
Yes,
It
yes.
was like the room changed
Yes,
for whatever, whatever mood he was in.
One of the funniest things was, so GM comes in and they're like, "Okay, we're going to take you to the next level. We're going we called it Charm School.
what
They sent him to this deal to make him where he could learn how to talk to people.
year was this?
This was
roughly?
this was 86, 87.
Okay. Yeah.
And we want the crew to go too. So they filmed him talking. They say, okay, read this. Talk.
I wonder where this shit's at.
Yeah. And so they would show it to him, say, this is what you look like on TV. And this is, you don't say duh or or this. They're teaching him.
Oh, yeah.
We called it Charm School.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate to hear myself talk. I hate to see myself on TV. I hate to, and it's the little guy that was doing the class is like, we're going to make you famous. And he said, I already am famous. I don't need all this.
Yeah.
But he did pay attention to
Yeah.
it because he was good on camera.
Yeah.
He was good on TV. I mean, but
In 1998, right before Daytona, they sent me to a same thing. I was, I don't know what you would call it, but I remember it being in downtown Concord, and I was literally in a classroom, and there were people in there that were like mocking interviews
right.
with me, and we would go over like a fake conversation, and they were like, "Man, you've got to work on got to stop saying and between every 4 or 5 words." And we would do an interview, mock interview, watch it, go do another one, watch it, and I'm like, "Man, this is awful." And it was like 2 or 3 days.
So we called that Charm School. He did 1 day of it.
I got sent to it because I guess he appreciated it.
Yeah, he did, but he took all the films and he did get a lot better.
Yeah.
He was, but he didn't want anybody telling him how he needed to act or how he needed to talk or how he needed to do anything.
Dude, I've got this video. We were talking about this the other day, but I got this video and I found it. I've got a ton of VHS tapes, and I don't even know what's on half of them. But I was going through some of them. And it's Dad, and he's in the deer head shop, and he's doing an ad for a mattress. And it's talking about how good a sleep he gets, and he's in his uniform. And I'm in the shot off to the side, dressed in the Goodwrench, wiping the top of this car with a rag. And Rick Boston, Tony Sr. are off in the back working on stuff in the background. And I had forgotten how he was. I had forgotten like the real texture of being around him, right, and the exact detail of what his temperament was, and he is freaking miserable trying to read this, and he's reading off the cue cards over the top of the camera. And Teresa's in the background, and there's a bunch of people in the background. And he does about 2 or 3 reads, and he's getting pissed. He's messing it up, and he's talking to himself. And he finally says, and Teresa says something like, "Well, it sounds really good." And he goes, "Hush." And I'm like, I forgot that part of him, that would just like, it snap like a dog. And he says, "Everybody behind the camera out. Y'all go outside, walk around." And so everybody leaves the whole damn room except for the guy that says action and the camera guy. And then like 10 minutes later, he looks over at me and he goes, "You want to do this?" Like he's so annoyed at himself. Now he's like yelling at me. I ain't done I'm just wiping the roof of this car for 15 minutes. And he goes, "You want to do this?" And I go, "Hell, I've heard it so many times, I probably could." And I'm like, holy I've got this in my mind. I've got this idea that I was always like, "Oh boy, don't say anything around Dad." He was this tough and rough guy. I bet, I must have walked around on eggshells. But there I was snapping back at him, being a little smart ass. And that little video, it's 25 minutes of him trying to figure out how to read this line and get it right, was exactly what it was like to be around him, like 90% of the time,
He was good at everything, and when he struggled with something like that, he would get
so annoyed.
He'd get frustrated. he didn't like, there was nothing he didn't know about.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew
he didn't like not being perfect at something or great.
But he was good at a lot of
He
stuff
was,
too.
he was, yeah.
I mean, it really,
Well, the
really.
finished product, I'm sure, was just fine.
Yeah.
But man, it was so funny.
And he also didn't want to do what he didn't want to do. He wanted to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they're like, "Hey, you got to do." He probably said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then the time
to do
comes.
it. He's like, I was supposed to be doing this.
Exactly. That would be him.
Oh yeah. You you know, I suppose we could move on and get into the Xfinity stuff. You guys won a championship this past year. Y'all have had a lot of success over the course of I don't know how long you've been sort of shepherding that program. How
Since
many?
18.
Since 18?
Yeah.
Y'all's specifically y'all's speed and ability at Atlanta, Daytona, Talladega, it's as nothing has changed for literally 30 years. Y'all take a ton of pride, I suppose, I'm assuming because of how good your cars are, in running well at Daytona, at Talladega. Am I right?
Yeah, we really do. And it is a lot of effort put in, and we're working on our short track programs now, and we're working on, it all this stuff happens on purpose. It's a lot, because the cars hadn't changed that much.
No,
and
which is good.
Yeah, which is good. I love these cars. Mm-hmm. Being able to have a little bit that you can do to them.
Feel like you're doing something.
Yes, feel even if you're not really, you do feel like you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I feel the same way. I've been around some shops and some people in the industry, and they'll, when I started racing with Tony Sr. and Tony Jr., they didn't. I don't know that they emulated RCR, but they adopted the focus that you guys put on Daytona. They adopted that, and I know it was industry-wide that when in the off-season, everyone probably spent 3 months on the Daytona car and a month or 2 weeks on the rest of the cars.
Right.
That you just that Daytona car, you'd go to test in January, you'd rip the body off, you'd put 2 or 3 bodies off on the car before you actually got to the racetrack and ran the 500. But there was just an ungodly amount of work put into that one single race car for that one race, and Tony Sr. and Tony Jr. and them guys were no different. And so when we started racing in the Cup Series, same thing. They put everything into the Daytona car. And y'all were doing the same thing, so was a lot of other teams in the garage. Fast forward to like 2014. We weren't, I don't think industry-wide, quite as, focused on the Daytona car as we were. And I actually went to working with, I don't think he'd mind me saying this, I started racing with Letarte.
Right.
And he's like, man, I can't wait to get you in our Daytona car and watch you do what you do. Man, we're going to be great. And we go out there to run around a little bit, and I was like, man, this thing's not good enough. I was like, I do need the car to kind of help me.
Right.
And I can't get it to be on the offense. And here's a couple things I feel. And he was like, and we had a couple guys in the shop that loved the details in the aero, and they were ready to like go to work, and they were some of the old school guys.
Right.
And I was like, so we went, and Steve went back, and we went and we turned over every tiny little stone. It didn't matter if it was maybe just might help. We're gonna pile it all on this car, right? And it was remarkable. I'm like, all right, now we got it. I can do everything I want with this car. And I feel like that y'all still do that. I feel like that y'all still, that mentality isn't alive in every team, even in the Xfinity Series today. That same mentality and preparation that you have going to a plate track like Daytona or Talladega that you had 30 years ago. That's still alive, and it's very evident by the ability that your cars have and what your drivers can do with them.
Yeah, we do spend a lot of time, a lot of massage, and Jay Bourne is he's our lead guy that hangs all of our bodies and does all of our stuff. And when we go to these races, he pays attention to every template, so that, and we make a list. Even if you win the race, we make a list of like, what can we do better?
Mm-hmm.
Where was our heights? What about this? What about that? And you never stop working on it. You just continue to work on it.
Yeah.
And, you know how it is. If you go win the 500 or you win the 300, your year's pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, no matter what happens. And there is really something to that momentum,
mm-hmm.
to where you roll in, you start the season off, you go and you qualify 17th and you run 17th. It's hard to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
And you start the season, everybody with their new stuff, you go down there and you look good. And you even get a feeling. I mean, I know you know how it is when your cars are leading that race. You see them come by with all the fans, all the TV stuff that's going on. You have all your new sponsors there. Man, it's just very satisfying to be good, and we push as hard as we can push, and we go as hard as we can go. And Richard and your dad both taught us that it's never good enough. Just keep going. There's a couple times when we won races with your dad, and your dad would say that car wasn't very good, or this or that or whatever. I'm like, we just won the race, man. The motor wasn't good, or this or that. I'm like, but his whole thing is he wanted us to continue to be better. And it was never good enough.
What do you think the Xfinity Series looks like in a couple years? And I'm not all knowing. So I'm going to be educated a little bit, because you and Bummy and those guys are definitely on top of what's going on in the series. But as I understand it, we are, our parts and pieces are harder to get,
right?
And ever since the Cup Series sort of transitioned away from the type of parts and pieces that we run, suspension wise and so forth, it's been more. It's going to continue, I guess, to become more of a challenge. What are the hurdles in front of us as a series? How long can we sustain? Me and you both love this car.
Yeah.
We love how this car works. When we look at it, it's familiar. How long can we sustain running this car? Is it not a problem? Is it going to eventually come to a head?
Well,
what do you think the future looks like?
It's a double-edged sword. To start with, they would love for us to run what the Cup guys are running,
mm-hmm.
and it took them years and years to get the Cup cars to where they are today, and they're still tweaking on them.
Mm-hmm.
They also do not want to put a bunch of teams out of business.
That's right.
We need 30 cars there, 35. We need to have full fields.
Yes.
The other part of it is they really need a single lug so that your pit crews on Sunday
can do Saturday. Yeah. That's becoming an issue.
That's becoming an issue. And then when you do that,
there's less, I guess, to explain it to the person listening, like there's less 5-lug guys. There's less guys willing to do a Saturday car. There's less Cup teams wanting to allow their guys to do the Saturday car. They get confused. They can't be as consistent and as sharp on Sunday. It's getting too important to be perfect on Sunday, right? You can't.
You're exactly right.
Right. So, and there's some old school guys that are decent Sunday guys that are very good, that used to be or are still very good 5-lug guys, but they'll age out.
Yes.
There'll be a day, I guess, in 5-10 years where everybody that's doing pit stops is a single-lug guy.
Yeah.
There won't be any 5-luggers anymore.
In today's world, you can get a really good athlete and teach him how to do a single lug. Mm-hmm. He can be on a pit crew in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
The 5-lug thing, it's years.
Yeah.
And years and years. And also with that, you have the bigger brakes. Everything's getting harder to get. The rear end housings, the brakes. This NASCAR's not going to have. They can't continue to keep running what we're running, but we have input. Me, Junior Motorsports, RCR, and all the other teams have input with NASCAR. And what I would love to happen is, for them to continue to let us build cars, but to their specs. Go to a single lug. I don't like the spec engine because I like knowing what's in the engine. And but there's we can't continue with what we have. But we also cannot put the Mike Harmons and the Joey Gases. We can't put those guys out of business. We need them to be there. If they came in to Junior Motorsports and they said, okay, this car is going to be $300,000 or $250,000, it'd be devastating.
Yeah, they'd only be 14 teams out there racing.
Yes, and we've seen that before in other series. So they have some challenges, but the one really good thing about NASCAR is that they talk to Dale Jr., they talk to Richard Childress, they talk to people like me, and they try to make a plan that everybody can get along with. It's not like it used to be. NASCAR is like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is it. So they do understand our battles, and that's why they haven't already went to what the Cup cars have. I think we'll have something that's close to that, but I think that it'll be, I'm not going to say a cheaper version, but a more affordable version.
Yeah. I look at the Cup car, and here's a couple things that I guess are, if you were to come to me and say, okay, man, we got to make some changes. We just can't sustain going down this path, and there's a shortage of brake parts or calipers and spindles and hubs and this and that and other. And so I would do everything I could to keep the 9-inch rear end.
Yeah.
I would do everything I could to keep the trailing arm style points. Like what that arm looks like can change, but the points themselves, all the pivot points. So I would leave the back of the car as is, but maybe you got a new company that's the single source for the trailing arm.
Right.
Or the rear end housing. Right. But it really is unchanged in terms of how it functions. The front suspension, I feel the same way. I would be very weary of like improving our braking performance.
Right.
I think that was a step in the wrong direction for the Cup cars to shorten braking zones and take away opportunities to charge and beat people into the corner. If anything, I'd make the brakes worse.
Our racing is really good.
It is. Yeah, like I don't want the brakes to work better. I want them to be long braking zones and that be a tool for a driver. And so, and the underbelly, like I don't want any aero underneath.
Totally.
Diffuser and all that.
We don't have.
We don't need any of that.
We don't have, like, when you start doing that stuff, it goes very, very deep on the aerodynamic side. We don't have but 15 hours of wind tunnel time. Yeah. And me and you share it together. Yeah.
I just don't want it to be part of how the cars operate and function on the racetrack. Yes. Like I don't want oval racing, stock car racing to me and diffusers don't mix. And so, that's GT sports cars, that's left and right. That's a global part, for sports car racing. So I think, I'm hopeful. I know that eventually we've got to accept and be ready to adjust and make changes and pivot. And to your point, I hope it's an affordable route for our teams so that we have we got teams that can survive. But I think it's simple to stay simple and stay very close to how we're operating now and how things function physically, how literally the cars function is important.
I am 100% with you on that because it would be really easy to mess our racing up. Yeah. And our racing,
I don't want the damn tires to change either. I don't want that low-profile tire.
I'm with you.
And if you don't put the brakes on it, you don't need the wheels. You don't need the smaller tire. All those things. Because I like our tire. I like our sidewall. I like how our tires function. And
our fan base grew a lot last year just from the CW.
Yes,
and
it was amazing.
If you pay attention to what the fans are saying, the racing's really good. Racing's really good.
Personalities are good. Yes. You got a lot of excitement. You got a couple of strong personalities in your team. Austin Hill, he's went through some things this past year. Had some learning, teaching moments, I suppose,
Yep.
is the best way to put it. But you know, what kind of person is he? We've had him in the room, and I've had the chance to talk to him. Y'all, I know that, like, knowing you and y'all's track record and your loyalty and support, like when he's going through those things, you guys got your arm around him.
Yes, we do.
So how do you navigate that with him to help him?
So he's misunderstood a lot, like your dad was.
Mm-hmm.
If you could see him with his 2 daughters and his son, he's an incredible dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fierce competitor. He wants to win.
Yeah.
He wants, you know, and he don't want to be pushed around.
Yeah, I know. He talked about how he was bullied when he was younger,
Yeah.
I think, and that was something that's kind of still sticks with him, and he doesn't like to feel like that's happening, and he wants to, and sometimes it comes off as him being the bully a bit.
Yeah.
I wish he would, like, listen, I love to bust his chops. I like to, you know, give him a hard time, and I wish he'd loosen up. Like, that was pretty big last year, and I know it was, and I'm not minimizing what he went through, and I know it wasn't fun for anybody, right?
Yeah.
But wasn't fun for y'all, wasn't fun for anyone. But I wish he would loosen up a little bit.
He will.
He needs to smile a little bit.
He's done great through the off season.
Yeah, I don't want to look at him like, damn it, you know, everything we're going to have to deal with this guy is going to be problematic, right? I want to have some good races. Right? We want to have some fun.
We will. You will.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that he's lightened up a bunch. He is not. He is.
I don't want to take his edge away. I don't think you can. Like,
no,
that's
you're not. You're
Yeah.
not going to take his edge away, and he's misunderstood a little bit. He is all about his family.
Mhm.
They told him at work, like, okay, you need to start growing your fan base. He don't care about none of that. All he wants to do is drive. He wants to race, hunt, and race. Sounds like your dad a little bit. And so you got to build your media platform. And he's like, all I want to do is race. I don't care about that. So it's probably his wife. They've been sending a few pictures out of the kids, of the family. He's like, I don't do anything unless I'm doing it with my daughters or my wife, or or I go hunting. And he's at Disney right now, and he's probably kicking and screaming because that's part of the deal is he can go do what he wants to do, but he has to do some family stuff too. Yeah. And
I'm soon to do a Disney cruise.
Yeah, that's going to be.
It's going to be something.
Yes. But so I think you'll see he has learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the situations, a lot of times you don't think about the ramifications and, you know, and this and that.
The on-track stuff, you know, I think look, what happened on the racetrack and what happened in the result of that, I personally am good with it. I think, you know, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about what I think happened in Indy. I got my opinion.
Yeah.
Everything that went down beyond that, I felt like NASCAR handled it. I know I'm going to have to race him.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want every experience with him to be a bad memory.
It's not going to be.
Right? Because I want him to go out and win races. I want him to race hard. I don't want him to not win, not do well, but I want him to – I just love to get out and go, damn, that was a good race.
Yeah.
And go slap him on the back on pit road and say, you got us. That was badass. That was fun. Jesse Love.
So Jesse Love, a lot of people don't realize you could almost throw a rock to San Francisco from where he was raised.
Okay.
And you would think he was raised in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
He absolutely loves it here.
Yeah.
Jesse's his head is down. I mean, you know, his best friend's Connor, and I think it got in his head a little bit that Connor won all those races last year. You know, he's worked really hard over the wintertime because he wants to win 11 or 12.
Yeah.
You know, Connor won 10. I love them both. They are totally different. Austin is the family man. He's a little more abrasive. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. Jesse is the fun-loving kid, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, he is he's never had a bad day. He is living the dream right now. Jesse is. He don't even know how good he's got it made.
No, he don't.
He has no clue. And so he called me yesterday, and he says, I can always tell when he wants something. Look, I really, really, really need to stay for the Daytona 500. I'm like, okay.
Why does he have to ask for that?
Yeah, well, it's just rental car, room, this and that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on a budget at our
Yeah, I know that. I know we are too.
So I'm like, okay, no problem with that. Like, so then he goes, I can sleep on the floor in Connor's coach if you let me stay.
I know.
And I'm like, all right, that's a deal. I'll pay for your rental car.
Yeah.
You're not having a hotel room.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can remember those days, but he's like, I'll do anything to stay. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. He wants to run. He wants to race everything he can. He wants to run every sprint car race. He wants to run every dirt race. He wants to run every late model race. He wants to, and he just had that talk with Richard about, okay, I got a chance to run some dirt races and some midgets and this and that and whatever. And Richard said, okay, just be careful. I don't know if you get hurt, who are we going to put in the car?
Yeah.
But Kyle Larson's doing it. All those guys are doing it.
The opinion now is these days is it's the more you're driving, the better you're getting.
Yep. And Jesse does. He studies the craft. He studies the pit roads. He studies when to shift. He's been working on him and Connor.
They've been since kids.
Yes, they've been talking about, how are you that good on a road course? Help me be better. Mm-hmm. And they're not in go-karts doing it. They're just talking about, this is what I do. This is how I do. And Jesse's like, I feel like I'm going to be way better. And Connor's a good kid too. I'm really glad that they're friends, because he could definitely be with a lot of worse people.
Oh, yeah.
But they're all about racing. They're all about, and see those kids come up. I think you said it one time. It's hurtful a little bit on one side. You get Jesse and you get Austin in, and they're, you kind of love up on them, but we're just a pass through.
That's right.
And you got to let them go like they're your kids, and then hope that the next ones you get, are respectful and can drive and this. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not so good. But we're trying to promote people to the Cup side.
That's what. Yeah.
And my issue is I get really, really close to them.
Yeah. But I mean, that's also one of your greatest attributes,
right?
And as a person, is your character and how you do care about people.
And I have noticed how some of your drivers, how you have tried to promote them out of here, how to get them really, really good rides, even though they were winning a bunch of races here.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. We can't hold them back.
Yeah. I'll be honest, it's a bit of an ego thing. I love looking across the Cup garage and seeing people that worked here.
Yes.
I feel like if I can't, if being in the Xfinity Series is what we're going to do, then the greatest reward and the greatest success for us isn't winning the trophy on Saturday. That's nice. That's second or third.
Right.
It's seeing your people go into the Cup garage and be valuable, quality individuals, and they spread the word.
Yeah.
JRM's a great place to work. People start coming in that door. I was told this is where I need to be. This is the best place. My buddy, he's in the Cup garage, and he said such and such, And we get a ton. It's hard to find good people these days, but I think, have a better opportunity than most because of the reputation,
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah. Man.
I'm jumped all over the place on this.
It's good. I know. That's what we do. The podcast is that. You walk in the room, you sit down, and we just start talking.
Right. So your dad called me one time, and he goes, he always like, where are you at or what are you doing? Mm-hmm. It was never,
No.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And
I call LW, and he picks up the phone. What are you doing? Tell me what you're doing.
This was 92.
Mm-hmm.
I had bought a truck from Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, 92 Chevrolet truck. And he had a truck. And he goes, need you to come to the Deerhead shop. Bring your truck. I'm like, okay. You couldn't tell him no. I showed up, pull in. He's got his truck in there and bumpers off of it. He was looking at something, and he ran into a hay bale, one of those round hay bales, and messed the bumper up on his truck. So he took the bumper off of my truck and put it on his truck. And he's like, I'll get you a bumper. He said, Martinsville was the next weekend. He goes, I got to drive my truck to Martinsville, and I don't want anybody to know that I mean, around the farm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, around the farm, he was amazing. It was like he knew every deer.
Oh, yeah.
He knew every little bitty, anything that went on, he knew about it. He wanted to say he was a farmer. He loved the chickens. He loved this. He had a lot of stuff going on. I mean, he was wide.
Oh, yeah.
And you talk about getting up early.
4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, every day.
I made a joke. They said, hey, we want to start filming at 8:30. And I said, is Dale Jr. going to be up by then? And they said, things have changed, brother.
Today, yeah.
Because it used to be you would sleep late and stay up all night.
Yes.
But your dad was always, man, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. And he was, I don't know what time he went to bed, but I know he always got
His
up early.
bedtime was all over the place. They used to, at the Deerhead shop, they'd work all day. He'd get up 4 or 5, get out, feed cows, and get up in the autograph room, sign autographs for a couple hours or whatever, and before everybody got there. And then when everybody got there, he's running around doing. And at 5 o'clock, they'd pull, a fifth of vodka and beers, and they'd start drinking. Somebody would order some pizza, and they just bench race and and talk about what they needed to do, make plans, and with Tony Sr. and all them. And that might end at 9. That might end at 12,
right.
Whatever, right? And then the next day, same thing, 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes they didn't bench race after 5, but most of the time, he enjoyed doing that. That was something that I always appreciated was, so they had that they had that bush shop next to Mamaw's house,
right,
in the 80s. And, I mean, they raised a lot of hell.
Yeah, they did.
Back in the day.
Yes.
And when he moved that all over and even got, the big cup garage and all that stuff built, and all, they still had that damn pal around 5 o'clock happy hour.
Yep.
Everybody come over. Everybody came over. The guys that were on the road crew that had real jobs for the Bush car, Scott Daniels and all these different guys, they'd come on in after they got punched out. They'd start driving in. Some guys got a damn bowl full of chicken wings, and this guy's got this, and this guy's got that, and we just everybody just started laughing and sitting around and drinking beer and having fun. Those were the best times.
Did your dad ever tell you why he does his autograph like he did it? Richard Petty. So he told us. I heard him tell the story one time. He said that he used to sign his autograph, you couldn't even tell what it was. And then somebody asked me, he goes, why do you sign your autograph like a girl? And he said, Richard Petty told me that the fans is what makes us or breaks us. He said, so Richard Petty takes his time and he signs his, and Richard Petty taught me that they need to be able to read my autograph. So he changed it up early on. Yeah. And so he made it to where you could actually read it. Yeah. And today, if you look at Richard Petty's autograph and you look at your dad's autograph, anybody else's autograph, you can't even tell who they are. But the reason he did that is because Richard Petty told him, like, he paid attention to stuff, to all the details, and Richard's R and your dad's D they're
similarities.
Oh my
big
God.
loops. And,
yes.
Yeah, Dad had a lot of respect for Richard, and I was doing those 1979, 1980 podcasts around the Becoming Earnhardt kind of series. And that's kind of one of them deals where, like, if Dad were here, I'd love to sit down with him for like 18 hours and talk about 79 and 80.
Right.
You know, and when he was in the race, when he was in NASCAR in 79 80, he was different. He was the young guy. He was the guy that Richard Petty would stick his finger in his chest at Martinsville and go,
Yes.
"What the hell did you do that for?"
Yeah.
You know, and Cale Yarborough and Bobby Allison, all those guys were mentors to him.
Yeah.
You know, where in 6 years it flipped. He was the mentor. He was the lead dude. So it was kind of fun, I think, to go back and study and try to remember Dad in a completely different, with a completely different personality almost, and mentality and outlook on things. He wasn't the top guy in the garage, right? Yeah. And that was a lot of fun for me, to kind of see him becoming who he would become. But man, this has been a lot of fun. I didn't even look at these notes really, but
I had a lot of stories I was going to tell.
What you need to do is I want you to come back, and when you start, do you use your notes app in your phone?
Yeah.
So start a notes app for the next time you're on the show, and we'll do it this year. We'll get you back in here whenever you feel like you're ready. Every time you think of a story, just put a little brief and bring those. Because I sit down here and, God, I driving for the last 24 hours, I've thought about this show. And I've probably thought about 12 things that I wanted to ask you that I can't remember sitting here right in this moment. And the way I prep for this show, I should do a little better job. But making that note.
We have a lot of
you got some stories
that are non-racing stories.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That are really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised at the music that your dad listened to.
I was surprised a few times when the damn door, he'd come pulling up and the door would swing open and Black Velvet and like that would be playing, and I'm like, all right.
We went to the store in Daytona one time.
He liked Faith Hill.
Yeah, he loved Faith Hill, and he would be in the classical section getting this, and he'd be over in the hard rock section getting. I mean, it's like, and
he liked Delbert McClinton, which I didn't mind Delbert, but I wasn't going to pull Delbert out and listen. Put his. He had. I remember going on his boat with him, which freaking super rare. This is literally the only time I ever remember it be me. It was me and him and the CD case.
Yeah.
Right? He had that little fold open CD case and probably 50 CDs in there. And it's me and him, and we're drinking beer. And I honestly didn't know how freaking badass I had it in that moment to sit there with him and bull. And he's like, play some music. And there was one CD in there that I would have played. If that was my case, there was one CD in that thing that I was like, yeah, I'd listen to this, and it was Brooks and Dunn. And so we listened to a lot of Brooks and Dunn that night. Yeah. And the rest of that shit, I'm like, this ain't shit I listen to.
He would, he did Dale's Day Off, which would
the lake deal?
At the lake. He would have parasails, this
T-shirts made.
Oh my God, yes, just for us.
Yes.
Speaking of Delbert McClinton, we were at Daytona one time, and they said, hey, there's this guy that sings just like Delbert McClinton. We're going to go listen to him.
Oh.
And it was at the Hawaiian Inn. We walked in, and it was all of us. And the guy, the Delbert McClinton, whatever, he goes, all right, everybody, look right here. We have Dale Earnhardt in the house right here. And Earnhardt said, we're out of here. We turned around and walked out. Dale Earnhardt is in the house right here. And I'm like, we ain't staying.
Yeah.
It was like it was the Jolly Roger room or whatever it was. Yeah. I'm like, and they're like, no, come back. And he's like, nope.
Yeah.
Ain't happening. I mean, and when he made his mind up, there was no changing it.
Yeah. That's for sure.
But there is a lot of stories that we need, stuff you'd love.
Well, let's tell them. Let's tell them one day. Make a note.
I will.
We got to get this on tape so it lives forever.
I got you, brother.
You got an important responsibility.
Yeah, I'm the old guy. Got to get the stories out. Yeah. I really do miss, Kirk and Will and all the guys, and talking about this stuff brings back all the memories, and we were we were not just a team. We were a family. You know,
yeah.
Richard. And I'm glad you were a part of it. I'm glad you were right there to be able to see all that, because your platform reaches a lot of people.
Yeah.
And your dad was way misunderstood. He wasn't just a hard ass that wrecked people.
Yeah.
He was a badass. Everything he done, he was incredible.
Yeah.
If the people knew what kind of business person he was, and what kind, all the things that he did, and all the people that he took care of, and that's why I said I was proud of you. Whenever he passed, a lot of those people he took care of, I know you brought them in, and you looked after a lot of his people, because you know that would be the right thing to do.
Yeah. I tried to. I don't know if I do it as much today, but man, right after he passed, for like the next 5 years, I think every kind of heavy decision I had to make, I always like chose the one I thought he would choose. You know, whether I wanted to do that or not, I better do it this way. He might be watching me, or I felt like he was judging me,
Right.
still, because I felt that way my whole life,
Yeah.
like, as a son, like any child, you feel like your parents always like watching you,
Yeah.
But, man, I told you at the start of the show, that, you've always been so good to me, and people like you, that have done that and went out of your way to check on me and give me important advice, and let me know just in brief passing, you say things and do things that are always like building me up and making sure
I love you, man.
I know.
We are family.
I can't tell you how valuable that is for somebody like me, and there's that's so important, and that has really helped me. It really has. And so even today, even at 51 years old, seeing you on pit road is one of my favorite things.
I love it too. And I will tell you what, the way that you take care of your girls and your wife, your dad would love that too.
Yeah.
They'll love kids.
Mm-hmm.
You never would think it, but you have that picture of Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I know.
That was not a photo op.
No.
That was a real deal.
Yeah.
He loved kids, and he'd be really proud of you, how you've taken care of your girls and all the things that you've done. Well, he was teaching the stuff, and we didn't even know it back in the day.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate
It's been a fun conversation. I knew it would be. And I want you to come back this year. Let's tell some more stories.
I'm going to make my notes. I got my homework to do.
Yeah.
I'll start making my notes.
It's easy. We call it flagging moments. Like
Okay.
when we're out and about, when me and Amy do our podcast, she's super nervous because we don't ever talk. What are we going to do on the show? What are we going to talk about on the show? I'm like, well, sit down and start talking. But she's like, man, we need to flag some moments. Like, so we got a little notes app, and when something funny happens, somebody says something silly or that makes something we think everybody get a kick out of, we jot it down. But go flag some memories.
You've done an awesome job with this thing.
I love doing it
with all of it. You've reached a lot of people, and
it's fun.
It's great, and I love bringing up the memories of the past, because a lot of that's forgotten.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this is how it can kind of be remembered, and I know it's hard for people that have never experienced it. There's a lot of people that never saw Dad race, and I know it's hard to like put them in the room with you guys in the 80s, right? It's hard to like help them understand what standing around that garage door at the racetrack was like, watching y'all work. But it's worth a try, right? It's fun. This is a super rewarding thing that I do, and I'm glad that I found kind of this platform, because I've been able to sit down with you. I would have never had a chance to really get down into it with Shelmerdine,
Right.
and I've had the chance to bring some people in here and apologize for things that I did, that maybe I'm not so proud of, which is good, and reconcile some bad memories or tough moments. So it's been super rewarding. So
I love it.
I appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Okay, you're gonna love this.
All right. Oh, hell.
Here we go.
Open face helmet.
Open it up.
All right.
So, Bristol '99. Bill Simpson and your dad were really, really tight.
Yes.
And Bill Simpson had been wearing your dad out about, I want you to wear a white helmet. I want you to wear a white helmet, blah, 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 because nobody sees the black helmet. I need to sell helmets. So your dad is like, I'm not wearing
on it.
Your dad stuck those stickers on it. Doesn't even have the Chevrolet stickers with the 76. He put it on for 10 minutes in practice.
Yeah.
And then threw it out.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, here it is. Your dad give me so much stuff. I kept it, and it's yours now.
You know why I know that he wore this helmet? It's because the front lobe is carved out. Because he would get, back then they didn't mold helmets to your head, and he has taken a hammer and he's cut some of the foam right there. Because he would get, I just had my head measured the other day for a hat. And this guy's like, I bet you when you wear a helmet, you feel a lot of pressure right here. I'm like, I do. And I was thinking, Dad did too. And he would take a little ball peen hammer and just ever so lightly kind of tap in this one little spot right in the front to get it to where it kind of fit better. And you can see him.
So that's a white helmet. He wore at Bristol. Doesn't have a radio or anything on it because he won practice, and then he told Bill, I wore your damn helmet.
Was it a test or a race weekend?
It was race weekend. It was so... He gave it to him for his birthday. So his birthday was the 29th, and that was on a Thursday. And then Friday, the 30th, we practiced. And we won that race, actually. And so he gave me a bunch of stuff. The coolest thing that I have.
I was going to just ask you, what do you think is your prized possession? And there may be a couple things.
His very, very first Nike shoes.
Oh, the black ones with the red check?
Yeah.
Or that had like a red...
The very, very first
swoosh.
ones.
Yeah.
They made them for him. He practiced with them at Daytona. He was like, these things are too narrow. They're junk. He threw them in a trash can, and I said, I'm keeping these things.
Yeah.
So the very, very first pair, I got them. They say demo on them.
Oh, man.
I'll bring them and let you see those. I'm not giving you those.
No,
I'm giving you this, but I'm not giving you that.
That's fine.
But he wouldn't keep anything.
Mm-mm.
He's like, Give these goggles to that little girl or this or he made sure that he spread the love.
I wonder how many pairs of bubble goggles he wore.
Oh my gosh. And he had this little thing he had to go through where he would tie them up they had to have not
just the right amount of pressure.
And he'd take them off and he'd have to be just exactly right.
Yeah.
One time he took and he goes, check this out. He took and put underneath.
I know. It looks silly.
And I'm like, that looks stupid.
Yeah.
And he's like, he wore them like one or two races. Yeah. And he's like, but he was not going to be wrong.
It ain't stupid.
Yeah, it ain't stupid.
And then they're gone the next week.
Yeah. But so that helmet is from the 90s.
Yes, sir.
And this is the only time I ever know of him wearing a white helmet. And I'm like, you know what? It's yours now. I got the box, and I just figured that this is kind of stuff that people needs to see instead of being in my closet at my house.
We'll put it up here in the room. It's all my most of it anyways.
You got some stuff.
I got some stuff. Some old trophies.
I know you're getting ready to get busy. I went to RCR this morning. I left. Now I'm going back.
You going to the race?
I'm going to go.
You going over to Bowman Gray?
Just for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for a little bit.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like they're all ready, and it sounds like the weather's a lot better.
That's good.
Man, I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you. Thanks for giving me some time today. I know this was we jumped through a lot of hoops to make it happen. You're a good man. Danny Lawrence on the Dale Jr. Download.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. All right, so that was great to have Danny in here, and I hope that you realize or understand why he's such a special person in my life and a special part of the RCR Earnhardt connection. He was heavily involved in all of that, and just one of the few guys from that era that's still heavily involved and around the racetrack today. So, I said it once, I said it twice, maybe multiple times, but it's just, I love seeing that guy, and we walk up to each other on pit roads, always wishing each other well, wishing our teams well. I know we're competing against them on the racetrack, but I certainly want to see him succeed and RCR succeed because of the connection. So just great to be able to have him on here. Hopefully y'all enjoyed getting to know Danny and what he's all about. Thank y'all. All right, everybody, it's time for the Dirty Mo Dose segment brought to you by FanDuel. We've got the Clash tonight, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
This show comes out today, so
This will
yeah.
come out today. Yep.
The odds-on favorite to win, Ryan Blaney with Chase Elliott. Both. They're going to cross the finish line tied at plus 650. Followed by Denny Hamlin at 700, Kyle Larson 850, and William Byron at 900. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. I think that's pretty accurate. Chase Elliott seemed to dominate last year. Ryan Blaney was relatively quick. I don't know. You know, I feel pretty good about Chase again.
Yeah.
You know,
he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Him and Denny kind of ran the show, I thought, last year for a little bit.
Is this a dumb question? But with the races keep getting postponed, do you think some drivers are just going to go out there and kind of go through the motion?
Mail it in.
Or when they get in the car, does that change?
I think you might. This is a personality question, right? Not every driver does the same thing. Some guys look at this as like an opportunity. I bet a bunch of fools are going to lay down and not take this seriously. Here's my chance.
Mm-hmm.
Other guys may go, hey, you know, this ain't even serious. Look at how look at how the weather's affected this, and now, you know, we don't know who's going, you know, not even that many people's going to be paying attention. You tell yourself whatever you think you need to tell yourself, only really to suppress anxiety and nerves, or like pump yourself up, right? We would get a rain delay, and man, I would be like, everybody's checking out, I'm checking in.
Mm.
You know, I was like, man, we're gonna be racing at midnight tonight. That's my time. I'm up. Everybody else is ready for bed at 9 o'clock. My ass is still going. I'm a night owl, so that's perfect for me. Even though maybe I don't know whether it's true or not, but in my mind, literally, I'm racing around a bunch of guys that are like, oh, I'm so tired, ready for bed, right?
Yeah, it's a mindset thing.
It is a mindset thing. So that could play a role, I think, in how they act and feel leading up to the moment they climb into the car. Man, as soon as you climb into the car and you buckle in, your inner, like, your race car driver just kind of dominates your inner competitiveness. You can't allow yourself to, like, not lock in and go for it, right? So I think, you know, once the engine's fire and you kind of get to, you're like, all right, here we go. I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. So I think that the bettors or the odds makers have it correct. Denny could sneak in there and get it. But you guys, do y'all want to bet a winner?
I kind of just, with your mindset thing, Joey Logano I don't feel like a guy that's going to roll over.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was even good here last year. I don't have any stats for it. But he just seems like a guy, if there's chaos and there's postponements, he's a guy that always kind of rises to the top. He's plus 1,000, so he's not on that list, but he's right there.
It's not a bad bet.
No, it ain't. I don't know. I feel like that, you know, they went there last year and it was their first try, and now they have notes, right? Now they have information. And so what we saw, I guess I won't be surprised if we don't see a replication of last year, because I think teams go home and they get smarter. That's not really a very common style of racetrack they race on. They don't have a ton of they have better understanding, I suppose, of what they should have brought to the racetrack. And I bet you a bunch of teams have made some big changes and pivoted away from what they brought last year to try to be more competitive this year. So you might see none of these names leading the race.
Yeah.
Might be someone not on this sheet, you know. So I'll be honest, like Josh Berry was pretty good last year.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, he had some great speed, but and so I feel like that, you know, the Penske cars with Logano, Blaney, possibly Berry, can get up there and make it a race. But
Josh Berry plus 2,700.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking pretty good last year. But and Blaney had to drive from the back, right?
I believe
yeah,
so.
And so if he doesn't have to do that, has he got a better shot at it?
Yeah.
Not having to work all the way from the rear of the field, such a hard place to pass.
Hard place to pass, yeah.
had to use up a lot of race car to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Shoo, I'd have to say Blaney. I think it's the guy I'd put my money on. If you said you got to put $20 down, you have to do it. I'm putting it on Blaney.
It's like you said. There's like 5 or 6 guys you can put your money down and be like, yeah, good bet.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be an upset, but there is a guy that. What about Ryan Preece? I mean, this is like tailor-made for him. This is a modified racetrack.
Yeah, he's
but
plus 2,700.
Can he be good enough?
Yeah, he always does kind of show up at these short tracks. But then he's the same thing as Blaney. He's back in the pack. He's using up all his car to get there, and it just kind of levels off.
Yeah, that would be a driver. Like if you were going to have some fun on some guys that are maybe not considered by the books to be favorites, Preece, Josh Berry. Those are 2 guys that are short track kings. Masters at racing at places like this, and so I would say those are 2 names that would be fun to sprinkle a little bit on.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the season win total bets, and so these are you're going to bet over on these or under either one.
I have a lot of
Is it over under?
It's over under. Yeah, that's
all right, so
the
let's
line
just
they're
run
set.
through the list. Kyle Busch at over under a half. So does he win? Does he not? Right? That's the question.
Yeah.
New crew chief Jim Pulliam over there. Dude, I feel like they could sneak in and get one. I don't, not that the crew chief change is an upgrade. I honestly felt like he had a really good crew chief to begin with, but I just feel like that Jim comes with his own ideas to add to what they were already doing. So I would be surprised if they didn't like improve some. And that might be enough to like put him in place a few days on the calendar year to grab a win. I would bet Kyle over. What's the odds on that?
Do you think odds by chance?
I think it was like 115 each way. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even,
Denny Hamlin at 3.5. I feel like he's motivated.
Yeah. I think he's good for 4 wins at least.
I think that the change in the point system has now given Denny kind of new life.
Yeah.
There's no secret that he didn't love being in the framework that we had in the past because his style, and he's just steady, consistent. He's a winner. On an average year, he's going to win 3 races.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so he's a long game, and he can tool it together. And I think he's more motivated than ever to go out there and point here and there and win races and make it happen and put himself in that situation late in the season to be in the top 3 going into the playoffs or going into the chase. So
minus 110 for the over for Denny.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
I'd go over on that. Ty Gibbs, I don't see him doing it.
No, me either.
Yeah. I mean, I want him to. I don't have nothing against the guy. I just haven't been convinced. So I wouldn't put my money on the over. William Byron at 3.5. Oof.
He's so consistent, though. I have him over, but because of that.
Listen, Chevy's got a new body.
Yeah.
Less drag, more downforce. I don't know how you do that, but it's happened. I'm sure they're going to improve engines. I would expect the Chevrolets to actually, I mean, if I'm hearing everything about the bodies, if that's all correct, I would expect the Chevrolets to be pretty good.
Yeah.
All year. Better. The body should better serve them, I guess, for all their drivers. So why not?
Plus money for the over.
Nice.
Go for it. Plus money. We're going over on Byron. Brad Keselowski at a half. So 1 win. Does he win? Does he not?
Starting the year off a little bit.
I don't love it. Yeah. I'm going to bet the under. Chase Elliott at 1.5. I'm betting the over.
That's over.
For sure.
I mean, he was the most consistent driver last year.
If you could get a alternate line, I would even go to 2.5. I'd go to 3 wins for Chase.
That's a great bet.
Yeah. Connor Zilic, does he win a race?
I would have fun
The
with
line's
this.
at a half.
I would bet it over.
I would too, just for fun.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Why
it'd be
not?
fun
I
to
mean,
root for it.
this would be one of them deals where you put $1 or $5 something like that on this Connor Zilic, and so every time there's a road course race, of course Connor's going to go out there and try to win the ovals too, but every time there's a road course race, you're up on it.
Yeah.
Like you're more invested because here's you're pulling for this guy to come in there and cash the bet.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about the whole process, right?
100%.
So yeah, I'd put money on that over. We got Super Bowl Sunday happening this weekend. What's your thoughts?
I like the Seahawks.
Damn.
They've been blowing everybody out.
Dude, they feel like the most balanced. Like if they can't beat you here, they got this.
Yeah.
If they can't get if this ain't working today, they got these two other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And their defense.
So good. All the whole units, the roster, they all play the same way, hard, and they're just going to punch you in the mouth. And
So
that's hard to beat.
Let me ask you this then, Tim, because there's a bet that I had my eye on. Largest lead of the game, under 14.5 points, it's minus 130.
Yeah.
Like I just don't see in a big game like this with good defenses that Seattle's going to just go out there and like get a 20-point lead.
Yeah, but
No. Yeah.
I do think their defense, though. Like I have one of my fun bets is Seattle defense for a touchdown. Like I think they could run a pick six back and they could dominate Drake May.
Does that include special teams or is it just
No,
defense?
just defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been watching all year. We do fantasy and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't do I didn't do a ton of betting in the NFL this year, but I mean I was watching, of course, trying to wish my Commanders along. But
There ain't enough wishing there.
Drake May is in the same class as Jaden Daniels, and so there's you're watching, and I had Drake as a quarterback on my fantasy team, and I'll be honest, man, I don't realize, I don't appreciate how good the Seahawks defense is. But in every game that I really watched Drake and those guys play this year, they're good enough to go out and score 21 points minimum, right? Will that be enough? And against a very tough defense, can they go do that? So I'm seeing this as like, Seahawks 28, Patriots 21. A game
close.
similar, something like that, right?
Yeah.
31 to 24, 31 to 21. It's not going to be like edge of your seat close at the end, but I don't see it being more than a 10, 11-point margin of victory.
Agree.
And I don't see them scoring a going over. If you're going for the game total, I don't see it going over 55.
Yeah, I think total is 45 right now. So if you wanted to bet that, I guess you bet over. But yeah, the only other fun bet I had was Seattle to score.
I definitely think they get over 45.
Definitely over 45.
Yeah.
I think so. Even with good defenses, though, the offenses are going to get theirs.
Yeah,
that's how it's going to work.
And there's always that. There's always each team's going to get a touchdown on some kind of a
Fluke, weird play.
And
I don't I'm not saying that the NFL tells the refs don't, but the refs don't want to call. So like
call
I think
the game a little looser.
They're gonna keep the flags in their pockets. Going to help the offenses move the ball a little more.
Yeah.
Could see that. I hate to be a ref in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl if it's a 10-point game.
No, thank you.
If it's close at all, right?
Yeah.
They've been catching some this year, rightfully so. But that's been interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got, Tim's?
The only one I had was Seattle scoring all quarters was plus 130. That's a field goal or a touchdown. I think they could do that.
You think so?
I think so.
I like that.
It's fun.
I'll be honest, man. This feels like the Super Bowl to me moves so much slower. I don't see this. I'm wrong about this, of course, because we've had some high-scoring, high-powered offenses that come in, and there's just constant moving the ball. But I feel like, I don't know. There's a feeling to me like both of these teams are kind of very deliberate about how they play offense. Like, Seahawks can't have the big play.
Yeah, they got to run the ball. Both teams do, which drains the clock.
I feel like it's going to be, I feel like it'll be one of them deals where they're close to scoring, and it's the end of the quarter, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be shit,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think what also is the only fear with this too is it is outdoors. It's San Francisco, but it's not a dome where it's just like perfect weather, no wind.
Yeah.
There could be that where we're gonna pound the rock. It's grass. I don't know. They could just be slower.
I just feel like too the game. It's not the Super Bowl is sometimes it's like fighters that get in the ring and they kind of start slow. That first round, no matter what, they just can't get in there and just like kick it into gear. But they come on later in the game, right? They get into a flow. You got all those guys. They're amped. They're on the chip. Getting ready to start the biggest game of their careers.
Yeah.
It takes them a while to settle in, right?
Calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. It's a good point.
There's going to be some mistakes.
Yeah.
You're trying to go in and not make those early, but so you're playing very conservative. Maybe, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's going to be scoring in every. For Seahawks to score every quarter. I mean, they could certainly do it.
Yeah,
I'd be nervous.
0-0. It could be. It's either they score a lot or it's 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. It's literally either
true.
one.
So, my favorite part of the year is coming up, March.
Yes, March
Yeah,
Madness.
we're just a month away. But there's some pretty good. There's a lot of build up to the tournament, and there's a lot of that sets you up for conference championship battles and so forth. And you'll see a lot of heavy favorite games where one seed's playing the low seed or whatever. And so this is the time of year where I start to really kind of, if I'm playing in this space, this is the time of year I'm doing it.
Yeah, start getting excited.
That's when we build our bankroll up.
It is. I got a parlay today. You're gonna love this one.
Can't wait.
All right, Houston. This is all college basketball. Men's. Houston, Louisville, Illinois, Gonzaga, St. Mary's. They're all massive favorites, and the 5-leg parlay is only minus 516.
We don't.
But I feel like it's gonna hit.
I mean, yeah, odds are it is gonna.
Fans,
hit.
we don't recommend.
At
this,
least it's.
Why don't you recommend this?
we can't condone or recommend?
Why?
We can't. At minus 516. If fans, if you're gonna bet this is on your own. We bet responsibly,
Why is that irresponsible? It's almost a lock.
folks. There's no thing as a
You'd
lock.
rather get a bad beat on a plus 110 like you did last night? I'm over here winning a couple bucks. You're just losing money.
Fans, you can bet it, but bet responsibly.
At least it's schools we've heard of.
Yeah.
It's not like the Lindenwood and
Yeah.
St. Presbyterian's Prep. Like I don't know what he's.
I'm doing all right over here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You are winning.
I'm going up. My account is getting more money in it, not less. All right, so you can talk about my bets all you want. I got another one. All right, hold on. This is a 17 pick parlay
Oh, jeez.
at 139 plus 139.
Okay, it's plus money.
It's all the same. Houston, Louisville, Old Dominion, Illinois, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and then a whole bunch of foreign basketball.
Oh my God, that's what we're talking about.
I'm walking out.
All right,
Yeah.
wrap it up.
It's
Wrap it up.
We're gonna win. All right. Don't be clowning the way I like to bet. I'm just having fun. It's how I want to do it. It's my phone, my app.
You're right. You're right.
Bet responsibly.
Bet
Bet responsibly. I would say I'm more responsible than most, at least in this room. I hope you guys enjoyed today. I had a lot of fun. The Dirty Modo segment is brought to you by FanDuel, the premier gaming destination of the United States. Man, it's great to have Danny Lawrence in the RB studio to kick off the season. I want to tell y'all about something going forward as we move toward Daytona. There'll be a live show in Daytona on Thursday, the 12th. We'll be down in the fan zone. We've done this before. We've had a lot of fun. Dirty Mo Media, we're going to be live on Sirius XM from 3 to 4. I'll be on stage with Jeff Gluck, Freddie Kraft, and Ryan Blaney's going to join us. Then from 4 to 4:30, there'll be a little bit of a crossover show. Do we know who's going to be on that show?
It'd be Jordan Bianchi and a slew of rotating drivers.
All right, a slew. And then from 5 to 6, Sirius XM Speedway with Dave Moody. This show's going to drop on podcast and YouTube later that night. That's the 12th in Daytona from the fan zone. If you're there, I hope to see you. There'll be I'm sure some fan engagement during the show. We also have a new merch that's came out, the new Dirty Mo Media merch. I saw this post on social media yesterday. Hockey jerseys.
Hockey jerseys.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty awesome. Go check it out. The Green Flag Collection is what it's called, and it's just dropped. We've also got a Valentine's Day line that's, perfect if you're buying something for somebody for Valentine's Day, or maybe you're just treating yourself. Hoodies, T-shirts, flags. We got it all. Go see it at shop.dirtymomedia.com.